So, Gytis, we just witnessed the best EuroLeague team at the moment. Solid win against Partizan. We're here right after the match. Hapoel won 97-84. Hapoel is 6-1 after round 7, alone on the top of the EuroLeague standings.
We were like, this team has definitely the potential. We were putting them at around 10th spot in our first power ranking, but I think the potential is being fulfilled right now, especially offensively. This team is kind of unstoppable. They faced a pretty, defensively tough-minded team, and Partizan, sometimes they have these games where they're really hard to score on. This game, they just showed that, this offense is just too diverse. There's too many players who can take the ball, decide possessions, and just make shit happen. And this game, it was Colin Malcolm with the highest scoring game for the team. But if you look at their averages of who's scoring how many points, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 players over 10 points, double digits. And that's Antonio Blakeney, 15.2 points, Elijah Bryant with almost 13, Vasilije Micic, 16.5, and then Dano Turu with almost 14. So this team is scoring in all ways possible, and it's just some beautiful offense to watch.
I remember last year when this Hapoel project was just about to be built with Patrick Beverley as the main point guard. This offense was so sluggish. It was my turn, it was your turn. There was no ball movement, no team basketball, and now it's completely different picture. That's why that's what makes the best offensive rating in the EuroLeague. Even before this game, they scored 97, so for sure they're gonna stay on the top. But just in general, to watch them play offensively is pure beauty. I mean, it's all on Vasilije Micic's shoulders, and that's where he feels the best. It's such a big difference to see Vasilije Micic here in Hapoel and what he was like in Serbian national team basically 2 months ago. It's so different when he can play his basketball, when he controls the ball, he feels himself so well, he feels the team, he makes the right plays, right passes. He seems like a bit quicker than he was before. So it starts from him, but
it's not just about him. It's not like
Exactly.
you said it's all on his shoulders, but not like it's not their success that's on
Yeah.
his shoulders. It's the role he has surely is what you were just saying. But even if he's having an off game like tonight, he scored 10 points, had only 4 assists. Okay, that's better than
it
I
was
thought.
not an off game.
But 0 from 6 from 3, for example, compared to his 45 percentage so far in the previous games. I was telling you in what crazy shape he is. I mean, physically both, but also game shape. Let's say how he's playing and how well he's shooting. This game he was 0 from 6, but it didn't matter because you have all these other guys like Antonio Blakeney, like Chris Jones, who basically killed the game at the end where Partizan tried to build some momentum, and he just pulled up a couple of times in a row, and that was it for Partizan's hope.
I think we all forgot how good Chris Jones can be. And in this final stretch of the game, starting from the end of the third quarter, he was just amazing. Hapoel was up by 2 when he entered the floor in the end of the third quarter, and I think he was scoreless. He contributed to 16 of next 18 points by Hapoel, either scoring by himself. He had 10 points in that stretch and dished out 3 assists. He was just dominant. Cooking, scoring, one-on-one basketball, kicking the ball out. He was a game changer in the that last stretch. But what I wanted to say that it's all on Vasilije Micic's shoulders. In a way, they rely offensively. He controls the pace, he controls the game, but others complement him so well. It feels like this roster is so well constructed. And I remember I had question marks before the season about their four-man. Like, who will stretch the floor? How they're going to play these lineups with Ishmael Wainwright, Motley, Oturu, Caboclo? But when you have Ishmael Wainwright making threes, I mean, it changes everything. And of course, there was season high. I checked even EuroCup stats last year. So he basically matched his career high playing in the EuroLeague and the EuroCup. You won't get three-pointers from Ishmael Wainwright every night, but that was huge. And then you have Colin Malcolm, great 3-and-D player. All these great scorers like Blakeney, Elijah Brands, Oturu in the paint. It's just a really solid team.
Yeah, and defensively too. Oturu, you just mentioned 4 blocks this game. He was a beast inside. He was a problem for Partizan in terms of their bigs. Even though we saw the debut of Bruno Fernando, they have more presence now. But Tyreek Jones was not having the best of games against Oturu. And generally speaking, their defense just actually both teams played like active hands defense. There were a lot of turnovers, maybe some just because of lack of focus and carelessness. But generally speaking, there was a lot of active, engaged defense. On the other hand, there was a lot of defensive issues on Partizan's side that, let's give credit to Hapoel, they used, and that they use it by moving the ball really well. What you mentioned as well in the beginning, that whenever there's a late rotation or there's an advantage created by one of these super talented backcourt guys, there's always someone cutting, someone moving off the ball, and the ball gets to that guy. So I think it's credit to both the coaching staff and the players who are willing to share the ball, even though they all have these high usage rates maybe in the past. And right now I feel like it's Vasilij Misic's and Chris Jones's biggest usage. But anyways, all these guys who are scoring, they're sharing the ball really well. Partizan, on the other hand, I feel like for that team to win this game without Nikolatis, who's supposed to join at some point soon, I feel like they had to play much better defense, because whenever they tried half-court offense, you could just see in some possessions when there was like Sterling Brown and no other ball handler in the lineup, the play doesn't even initiate. Nothing happens. The shot clock goes to like 4 or 5 or 6 seconds, and then some random shot goes up, or there's a post up, but then there's no advantage, and you take a tough shot. Basically, there's no creator on the floor at the moment, unless you have Dwayne Washington, who was having a great game.
Yeah.
And basically what I'm trying to say, when you cannot create half on the half court, you have to play good defense so you get stops and you can actually go in transition, because of their bad defense, they didn't get the transition opportunities. Whenever they did get those opportunities, they were actually converting pretty well, and that's the runs that they were making in any of the quarters you look at. They were out of transition plays.
Yeah, that's a good point, because it feels like they have the right athleticism to be a good defensive team. The problem was even before this game, and allowing 97 points shows that the problem continues. They have the second worst defensive rating in the EuroLeague. And this game, without transition plays and points that they could score, it cost them a lot. And although, defensively, they were not there in this fourth quarter, it felt like that the only way for them to win was to catch up with Hapoel's offense. But as you mentioned, they played lineups with Tyreek Jones, Bruno Fernando, Vanja Marinkovic, Isaac Bonga, and Dwayne Washington. I mean, it's hard to win games that way. And of course, obviously, they were missing not just some guys, Tyreek Jones and Shake Milton. Yeah. Just bring at least one of them on the floor to help Sterling Brown, Dwayne Washington. That could have been a different picture. So, Shake Milton...
Fast break points, though, 2 to 15 to Partizan side. So they, like I said, when they had opportunities, they ran, but it's always when Hapoel scored. That's the problem. Especially, like I said, there was one lineup that I was like, what is this lineup to start the fourth quarter? Sterling Brown, Lakic, Bonga, Fernando, and Tyreek Jones. So essentially, one player who kinda can handle the ball, Sterling Brown, but he's not like a creator for others ever. If he gets the ball, he usually tries to finish. That lineup was probably more about defense, but that lasted for 1 minute, and that 1 minute was costly actually for Partizan, because they went down by a couple more points. There was a double-digit lead for the first time, and basically from then on, Hapoel took the game.
So Tyreek Jones won't return anytime soon. Shake Milton is closer to return, and they're also exploring the market for another guard. And at least my sources within the market suggest that they can have money to pull off a solid signing. So that could be a difference maker. Although, as you mentioned, Dwayne Washington had a solid game, and just in general, he's having a solid stretch. In the last 3 games, he was averaging 16 points and almost 5 assists per game. And I just think that he can be really solid coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Obviously, he cannot be your main guy or main creator because he's more of a scoring type of player, but he proves that he can be a valuable piece in the rotation. They're just missing.
He's been playing like over 25 minutes in the last 3 games.
Yeah.
So the role has inflated. And also, of course, the debut of Bruno Fernando, maybe to quickly address that. High energy, presence inside, all the things we were talking about, rebounding, that's all he brought today. An on and off game, like there were moments where he looked good and some other he didn't, defensively especially. But, I mean, they needed a body. I think they got one, a big body, more skilled maybe than in some situations I anticipated him to be in the post, especially. So, you know, with Tyreek Jones, I feel like that's 2 of the more energetic guys in the EuroLeague. They'll bring that. But the only problem I saw in the lineups was that they played like we just discussed. Why are you playing Bruno Fernando and Tyreek Jones together and not, let's say, mixing it up together with Jabari Parker or Oskowski? Both can shoot the 3, so you have a stretch 4 and this big energy guy. But I don't know.
Maybe it was for defensive reasons.
Perhaps.
It worked in some situations.
Yeah. They did get some stops.
Yeah, so they need help on the floor. Off the floor, they had help. I was surprised to see so many Partizan fans.
Yeah, they actually
in Sofia
were way louder than any Hapoel fans in there.
I was told that there were more than 3,000 Serbian fans supporting Partizan. Apparently, Sofia is not that far from Belgrade. It's a 5-hour drive. Also, it's a 2-hour drive from the second biggest city in Serbia, Niš. And apparently, they also have a big support out there in Niš, I mean, Partizan. I heard that there were even fans coming from Northern Macedonia, because they have support and followers in Skopje. And also, CSK Sofia is also known for their relationships with Partizan fans. So they had this support as well. So although the game they played in a game which was home game for Hapoel, it wasn't the case. So I was just surprised how big Partizan is outside Belgrade. Okay. We all know that in many games they're supported by Partizan fans, but I thought that they were just flying from Belgrade, you know, to Bayern or some other cities. But here, like, wow, that's huge.
The only thing I have to correct you on is Niš is not the second biggest city, and I thought that can't be the case. It's Novi Sad.
Novi Sad.
Niš is third.
500,000 people out there.
Where?
In Niš.
In Niš, it says only 250,000.
Okay, I need to double check my good
maybe,
Serbian
but that's
sources.
2022 sources, so maybe it exploded and overtook Novi Sad. But you guys, the Serbian guys, tell us in the comments. Anyways, two teams that are going different directions at the moment. We'll see where it
One
goes.
last message.
Yes.
It's still not too late for Partizan to jump in and to catch up with the best teams in the EuroLeague. And it's not too late for the fantasy players to join BasketNews Fantasy, because we have this November game where if you missed the start of the season, or if you failed at the start of the season, or if you're actually successful playing BasketNews Fantasy, you can join the league for November games.
With a new team, if you create a new team.
And you can actually play the old team that you have. But it's better to create a new team.
Okay.
Yeah. I was, let's say, advised by our fantasy experts.
Okay.
And the thing is that if you're the number 1 team in November, you can win €300. But you have to be a BasketNews BN Plus member. Right. So make sure to subscribe on basketnews.com/plus.
Right, and obviously get Dano Turu or Tyreek Jones for your team.
Dano Turu is the best big man in the EuroLeague. Facts.